Okay, so we're about to listen to this video of you guys performing the Rite of Spring live for four hands, and it was really phenomenal. Can you just each tell me what your experience was of working on it together? So maybe start with Audrey.
My experience on working on the Rite of Spring with Eric was really great. I really enjoyed when he wrote new arrangements of the material for me to learn when I thought that I learned the piece already. I also just really enjoyed this piece because there's so much going on, and so you get to experiment with a lot of different ways of playing, and it was very fulfilling.
And Eric, what are the changes that she's talking about? What did you do to the piece?
Well, I actually just tried to make it sound a little bit more like the orchestral version by adding some things that were in there. In the procession of the sage, for instance, there were some extra lines, and it was pretty difficult to play them all at once. And so, thank you, Audrey, for learning them with me. And the other thing that I enjoyed is that I was a bit scared about this piece at the beginning because of all the times we have to cross hands, which I'd never done so much or almost at all in four hands work before. And actually, it wasn't so hard once we figured it out. But Audrey was very good about it. We made lots of plans and did it very scientifically, and then it worked.
So when people are watching, they might notice there's a lot of page turning, and I think you actually might have made a plan about the page turning. Is that right? Audrey, didn't you tell me something?
The plan was that Eric would page turn.
No matter what, right? Yeah.
Because one previous time when we played this piece, we both tried to turn the pages at the same time when we got into trouble, and that made things a little bit worse. So
yeah,
I would say we didn't have very many page turn disasters this time. I think the page turns went well, right?
Yeah, it was good.
It's hard because I'm turning the pages. Well, when we get in trouble, we try to turn pages with our hands, but otherwise I was supposed to be turning pages with my foot. And what happens in this piece is it's so wild that the pedal starts to go all sorts of different places, and so it's easy for it to get lost under the piano and then make it difficult to turn with the foot.
Part of the drama of the four hands version of this piece. So Eric, can you tell us a little bit about what the history is of this version of the piece?
It was the first actually published version of the music because Stravinsky wrote out the orchestral score in longhand, and that's what they were using for the performances of the orchestral piece. And then pretty soon, while that was going on, he did this four hands version, and apparently he and Debussy were the people who first played it for some people at somebody's house.
And how did you guys decide that Audrey would play the top part and you would play the bottom part?
I'm not as comfortable supporting because I think I have a lighter sound than Eric does, and also I'm not as experienced as Eric is at music.
And is there something about the pedal?
Yeah, the pedal.
Yeah.
I as the bottom person, because the bass usually has more control over the pedal than I was pedaling for both of us, and I think we both like it that way.
Yes.
So I just thought it was such an exciting live performance, and I can't wait for people to watch this video. I'm so glad that we captured it. Just from each of you, is there anything special that when the audience is watching this version of it, what should they watch out for in particular? Audrey, what do you think?
Well, I think one of the special parts of the performance is the piano that we were playing on, which was Chickering from early 1900. Is that right? And so the sound of that piano is so well suited for the piece. So I think some of the really loud, brassy sections come out especially well in that they're not bangy. They're kind of more brassy than they would be on a modern Steinway, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But also the range of sounds on that piano is really, really cool. So
cool.
Yeah.
And Eric, what would you tell?
Well, in terms of brassy sounds, the last part of the first half is called the Dance of the Earth, and it is particularly challenging on piano because there's a lot of repeated notes, and Audrey has the faster ones, and she did a great job of that. And that's supposed to sound like trumpets, and you can also, I think, see quite a number of interesting hand crossings in that part.
How does that one start, just so we know what to listen for?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Okay, I think we can recognize that. Okay, all right, let's listen to you guys play.